Hello, 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 everybody. What's going on? This your girl Tiffany coming through live in effect. So today we're gonna be dealing with the topic about African American history, as usual. And as you can see, today we're gonna be dealing about Patricia Bath, an ophthalmologist and an inventor. All right. So I have to keep my glasses on this one because if it wasn't for her, people like me wouldn't be able to wear glasses, right? A person like me who is nearsighted because I can't see far away. You know what I'm saying? And the letters and whatnot. So, anyways, she was the woman that came up with an invention that was a way to detect if anybody or any person has some form of cataracts, glaucoma, or any type of eye disease. Because as you get older, your eyes starts to cloud up a bit. You know what I'm saying? It starts to cloud up. You'll start seeing those little whites thing covering around your pupils area. Yeah, so her invention made to where people can get laser eye surgery, meaning they can get the cataracts removed out their eyes. Okay, and some people get laser eye surgery so they won't have to wear glasses or contacts or both, because some people have to wear both contacts and glasses, and then there's some people that wear glasses with the little bifocals things on them. So with that being said, I am going to present a video, and then I'm going to get into the subject about Miss Patricia Bath, or Dr. Patricia Bath. As you know, today is her birthday. Okay, she passed away on 2019. And we just want to honor the legacy in her life. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Okay, let's see. Show audio. Now, this video come from the interview she did with Time Magazine. All right. There we go.
Like big winners because of a state-of-the-art eye operation that has given sight back to people who are almost totally blind.
I was not seeking to be the first. I was only attempting to do my thing. It's only when history looks back that you realize you were the first. I was always a curious child. I was what they call a nerd. When I joined the faculty in 1974, I was the first woman. And the office spaces were usually based on academic rank. The other assistant professor was a guy. And I think they felt uncomfortable at putting us in the same office. Ridiculous. So my initial office was with secretaries. I'm a product of the 60s. And yes, when I was offered an office that was not equivalent to that of my male colleagues, I could have started marching. But I felt it was more important to focus on the prize.
Friends and colleagues, it's a pleasure to present this preliminary report on eczema laser cataract surgery.
One rainy, cold, lonely night in the labs, working until 2, 3 a.m. Eureka, laser phaco, came to the planet. I explained to the rector what I had achieved, and he said, "You can do that, that's impossible." There was not acceptance, and in some instances, there was anger that petite moi, little me, had indeed shattered the glass ceiling, had a scientific breakthrough, and he wouldn't look me in the face. the narrative of surprise, it has to change. I realize that when I achieve these things, it helps what other women and other people of color, Black women, can do. But keep in mind, I never had any doubts.
All right, so that's the story of Miss Patricia E. Bath. That was her talking when she did the interview back in 2017, I believe, with Time Magazine. Okay, happened to be one of the first African American women to come up with an invention that was catering to various forms of eye disease and surgeries, such as laser surgeries. All right, so I have some information on that as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and read some information about her, okay? All right, so there we go. So here's the introduction. Patricia Bath was an American ophthalmologist, inventor, a humanitarian, and academic. She is an early pioneer of laser cataract surgery. She also became the first woman member of the Jules Stein Eye Institute, first woman to lead a postgraduate training program in ophthalmology, and first woman elected to the honorary staff of the UCLA Medical Center. Bath was the first African American person to serve as a resident in ophthalmology at New York University. She was also the first African American woman to serve on staff as a surgeon at the UCLA Medical Center. Bath was the first African American woman doctor to receive a patent for a medical purpose. The holder of 5 patents, she also founded the nonprofit American Institute for Prevention of Blindness in Washington, D.C. Okay, so let's go further down. Let's look at her early life. So her early life and education. She was born in 1942 in Harlem, New York. She was the daughter of Rupert and Gladys Bath. Her father was an immigrant from Trinidad, a newspaper columnist and merchant seaman, and the first Black man to work for the New York City subway as a motorman. Her father inspired her love for culture and encouraged her to explore different cultures. Her mother was a descendant from African slaves and Cherokee Native Americans. Throughout her childhood, Bath was often told by her parents to never settle for less than her best, and had been encouraged by their support of her education. Her mother encouraged her dreams and love of science, had bought her first chemistry set. Gladys Bath decided to be a homemaker while her children were young, then later became a housekeeper to help fund the education of her children. Patricia and her brother attended Charles Evans Hughes High School, where both students excelled in science and math. Patricia was inspired by her teachers to pursue research. In high school, Bath also was further encouraged in biology courses to explore her love of science, spending extra time in biology labs to learn more. Then it goes on to say, inspired by Albert Schweitzer work in medicine, Bath applied for and won a National Science Foundation scholarship while attending high school. This led her to a research project at Yeshiva University and Harlem Hospital Center. studying connections between cancer, nutrition, and stress. In this summer program led by Rabbi Moses D. Tendler, Bath had studied the effects of, I don't know what this word is, so I'm not going to try to say this word right here, but I'm going to skip it, residues on bacteria. Through this, she was able to conclude that cancer itself was a catabolic disease and tumor growth was a symptom. She had also discovered a mathematical equation that could be used to predict cancer cell growth. The head of the research program realized the significance of her findings and published them in a scientific paper. Her discoveries were also shared at the International Fifth Congress of Nutrition in the fall of 1960. Wow. In 1960, at the age of 18 years old, Bath won a merit award of Mademoiselle magazine for her contribution to the project. So, as we know that Patricia Bath was heavily into science, and she started off studying chemistry, then she went on to study biology, then she went on to work in the hospitals where she studied information about cancer and nutrition, which led her up to the point to study about eye disease. Now, that's just very phenomenal for a woman at her age. At that time, she was 18 years old, doing all these things, doing all these research, and pretty much moved up the rank. Excuse me. So let's go on and look at more information. Okay. So let's go ahead and skip down a little bit. And it says the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968 caused Bath to dedicate herself to achieving one of the dreams of King, namely the empowerment of people through the Poor People's Campaign. She organized and led Howard University medical students in providing volunteer health care services to the Poor People's Campaign in Resurrection City in the summer of 1968. Excuse me, Resurrection. I keep saying Resurrection City in the summer of 1968. Bath returned to our Harlem community and interned at Harlem Hospital Center, which had just become affiliated with Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons. During her internship, she observed large proportion of blind patients at Harlem Hospital in comparison to patients at the Columbia University Eye Clinic. Prior to beginning her ophthalmology residency study at NYU in 1970, she was awarded a one-year fellowship from Columbia University to study and contribute to eye care services at Harlem Hospital. She began to collect data on blindness and visual impairment at Harlem Hospital, which did not have any ophthalmologists on staff. After her data and passion for improvement persuaded her professors from Columbia to operate on blind patients without charge at Harlem Hospital Center, which had not previously offered eye surgery. Bath was proud to be on the Columbia team that performed the first eye surgery at Harlem Hospital in November of 1969. She served her residency in ophthalmology at New York University from 1970 to 1973, the first African American to do so. She also got married and had a daughter, Erica, in 1972. All right, so the vast majority of patients that she was dealing with, of course, at the Harlem Hospital had to be African Americans, those who could not afford or didn't have the insurance to be able to get the proper care that was needed. Now, let's talk about blindness for a moment. So, blindness is something very serious and very prominent in our community, especially when it's related to diseases such as diabetes. Now, the reason why I'm on the topic about diabetes because we're talking about health here, okay? Diabetes is something very serious. It's a killer besides high blood pressure. And it can cause all kinds of problems, not just blood sugar level, not just your legs being amputated or the swelling of your legs. Yes, some people have to get their legs amputated or foot amputated, but it can also cause blindness because of your sugar level, because all that pressure is added onto your eye, which will mess up your sight. So diabetes is known to do things like that, to cause blindness. And there's very other form of disease out there that would cause a person to lose their sight, but diabetes is one of them. So this is why it's important, and you're not going to be 100% healthy. I'm going to give you the reality. You're not going to be 100%. Your health is not going to be always great, because there's going to be things that's going to happen in life, and there's going to be changes that's going to take place. But you have to make it your responsibility to maintain your health as much as possible by not being so careless, not being so destructive, not just putting all kind of residues in your body, right? Or all kind of substance, such as drugs. You know what I'm saying? Eating food that can cause or that can mess with a part of your organs. You know what I'm saying? Consuming too much salt, sugar, whatever. You have to be able to bring the balance in your health. That's the main thing. That's the key. But again, changes can happen. You get older, your bones start to become fragile, right? Your skin start to deteriorate. Your muscles ain't as strong as it used to be. You might end up having arthritis and all kinds of other stuff. It happens. And you can't really change that because your body's going through the process. When you change, your body changes. But try to maintain as much as possible so it won't get too worse on you. All right? Try to make sure you get as much vitamins in your body so that way you can be able, so that way you have less issues about your vision, and you won't have to worry about as much blindness, because when you become totally blind and you can't see nothing, you got to rely on that blind stick, and you got to read through the braille. The braille is like those little dots that you see on the doors, because you can't see nothing. And nobody wants to go through that. It's nothing fun about being blind at all. It can be stressful, it can be painful, and it can cause emotional breakdowns. So let's go ahead and continue. I don't want to talk too much. Okay. So let's skip down. Let's skip down this information. Let's talk about blindness studies and community ophthalmology. Based on her observation at Harlem Hospital, Bath published the first scientific paper showing the higher prevalence of blindness among Blacks. Bath also found that African American people had 8 times higher prevalence of glaucoma as a cause of blindness. Bath also found that African American people had 8 times higher prevalence of glaucoma as a cause of blindness. Glaucoma. Think about that. Based on her research, she pioneered the worldwide discipline of community ophthalmology in 1976 after observation of epidemics rates of preventable blindness among underserved population in urban areas in the US, as well as underserved population in third world countries. Community ophthalmology was described as a new discipline in medicine promoting eye health and blindness prevention through programs utilizing methodologies of public health, community medicine, and ophthalmology to bring necessary eye care to underserved population. All right. And so we're going to look into humanitarian work. Bath's main humanitarian efforts can be seen through her work at the American Institute for the Prevention of Blindness, co-founded in 1976 with Aldrich Cannon, an American psychiatrist and community organizer, and Aaron Ife Kunugwe. If I cannot, I'm not good at saying Nigerian names. A Nigerian-born pediatrician and human rights advocate. This organization had been created on the principle that eyesight was a basic human right. Through this organization, Bath was able to spread eye care throughout the globe by providing newborns with free eye drops, vitamins for malnourishment, and vaccination against disease that can cause blindness like measles. Bath was able to spend her time as a director traveling the world, performing surgeries, teaching, and lecturing at colleges. Bath claims her personal best moment was while she was in North Africa and using keratoprothesis was able to restore the sight of a woman who'd been blind for over 30 years. Wow. Amazing. Amazing work. And then April of 2019, Bath testified in a hearing called The Trailblazer and Lost Einsteins, Women Inventors and the Future of American Innovation at the Senate Office Building in Washington, D.C., where Bath has shown the gender disparities in the STEM field and lack of female inventors. Okay. Now, as you can see, there's a list of invention that has been patented. All right, the apparatus for ablating and removing cataract lenses. Okay, that was issued on May 17th of 1988. Then the method and apparatus for ablating and removing cataract lenses issued on December 1st, 1998. Laser apparatus for surgery of cataractous lenses issued on July 6, 1999. A pulse ultrasound method for fragmenting and emulsifying and removing cataractous lenses issued on July 4th of 2000. Combination ultrasound and laser method and apparatus for removing cataract lenses issued April 8th of 2003. That has not been that long ago, been about 17 years ago. Okay. So this woman holds 5 patents, or excuse me, she held 5 patents. All right. Now, she passed away on May 30th of 2019 at the University of California, San Francisco Medical Center from cancer-related complications. She was 76 years old. May her soul rest in peace. All right. So these are the awards that she has received. All right. I'm not going to go through the list of the awards, but here it is. And again, you can also check out more information, other references. Okay. You can check this out. So you can look at the external link. All right, there we go. Ooh. Someone asked, how can you cure glaucoma? Because I have it. Well, again, you would have to go to your eye doctor, all right? And they will have to go through the procedure process of how to go about curing glaucoma, all right? I personally can't tell you that, but you have to go to an eye doctor or go see a ophthalmologist, and they can be able to go through the procedure and process what you can do as far as cure the glaucoma disease. Now, there was rumors that I heard. This is the question right now asked. So those rumors I heard that people smoke marijuana and it helped them to see better. Now, I don't know how true that is. I'm not suggesting that you should smoke it. I'm not going to tell you to do that. But this is what I heard. This coming from people that I spoke to, right? And I heard about for a long time that those who smoke marijuana, it helps them with their glaucoma. Now, I'm not sure how true that is. But like I said, you would have to go to your doctor, okay, make a doctor's appointment, and you have to talk to them about your glaucoma disease and what can you do to bring about cure, or what can they do to help your vision better. So that's all I can say. Also, let me go ahead and look up some more information, or share some more information with you guys. So right here is two of her invention, okay, that has been patented. I wonder if you can see that. Okay, so go ahead, and this is the United States patent, all right? And it was patented on May 17, 1988. Apparatus for ablating and removing cataract lenses, all right? So this is the abstract over here. As you can see, this is the object. And the inventor was Patricia Bath, and it got the address. It was filed on December of 1986. Okay. So this is the figure. All right. So it goes into the background of the invention. Background and summary of the invention. The invention relates to a method and apparatus for coupling laser radiation to a cataract lens in the eye to ablate the same. Every eye is divided into an anterior, and posterior chamber separated by a normally transparent lens which focuses light onto the retina at the back of the posterior chamber. When the lens become cloudy for any of a variety of reasons, sight is impaired and the cloudy lens must be removed. Following removal of the lens, an interior ocular lens implant can be placed in the posterior chamber, or thick glasses or contact lenses used to focus the light. A number of techniques are now in use for this common surgical procedure. An incision can be made in the eye and a sharp instrument inserted to cut and then aspirate by vacuum the cloudy cataract tissue. More recently, a small incision, typically 3 millimeter, can be made in the eye surface and an ultrasonic probe inserted to a position adjacent the lens. The ultrasonic energy then integrates the lens material, which can likewise be removed by aspiration. Now, it says laser radiation is now used widely in various surgical techniques, particularly those involving the eye. For example, the patent to Kwashiorkov U.S. patent number 3,971,382 describes a technique in which laser radiation is focused onto the anterior capsule of the lens to form a hole through which the cataract substance can be drawn from the lens capsule. All right. So, and then it shows the example here. Okay. And also, here is the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office Certificate of Correction. So this is what it looks like when you receive your patent. Okay. It has the numbers, it has the date, and it has the name of the person that invented. All right. And then down here it says signed and sealed this April 25th day in 1989. All right. So that's what it looks like. So nobody can steal your ideas or your inventions and try to claim it and say that they invented something. So if somebody can do that, all you got to do is pull up the certificate and show it as proof of evidence. And you got the trademark logo, right? You got the patent and all of that. So that person who tried to claim ownership can get sued, right? For forging information. And yeah, so that's the purpose of the patent office. That's the purpose of that. So that way your invention can be recognized and you can take ownership of that, saying that you were the person that came up with the invention and your name is dated on it, because it prevents people from trying to put a trademark or copyright or trying to steal somebody else's idea and trying to claim it as theirs. So that's the purpose. All right. Okay. And also, I want to show something else. Okay, so this one's called Rationale for a Program in Community Ophthalmology that was written by Patricia Bath. Okay, so in this article, and the website it could be found on is ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that again: ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. Rationale for a program in community ophthalmology. The high incidence of eye abnormalities among Blacks, coupled with the relative unavailability of ophthalmic services, has resulted in excessive rates of blindness, otherwise preventable or curable. As a consequence, incidence rates for blindness are higher for the Black population than the white population. Statistics shows that Black children requiring eyeglasses are less likely to receive eyeglasses than similar age match white children. In virtually every state surveyed, Blacks were more frequently and severely afflicted with eye diseases and were less likely to receive treatment than whites. Yet no programs exist in any state specifically targeted to promote eye care among Blacks and reverse the eye worsening trend. Additional data characterizing the scope of the problem shall be presented. An initial strategy for approaching the problem, and namely community ophthalmology, has been developed. Community ophthalmology represents a new discipline promoting eye health and blindness prevention through programs utilizing methodologies of public health, community medicine, and ophthalmology. Basically, the use of community ophthalmology strategies is critical to positive outcome when given a population composed of blacks and other minorities who are chronically underserved with regard to all sectors of health. The evolution and rationale for these concepts are discussed from national as well as international perspective. Okay, so this is what she wrote, and she wrote this in 1979, and it was published in the Journal of the National Medical Association, Volume 71, Number 2. All right. So let's go on and let's skip down a little bit. Now, this is the chart that shows blacks and whites, okay, prevalence of blindness according to race. And as you can see, the number is pretty high from 1968, 1969, 1970. All right, male and female incidence of blindness according to sex, 1968 to 1969. All right. In 1968, the female made the highest. 1969, female made up the highest. 1970, females. All right, so let's just look at this. Let's read some of this real quick. The prevalence of blindness. There are approximately 500,000 legally blind individuals in the United States. Another 1.5 million Americans are functionally blind. That is, they cannot read newspaper, print with either eye aided by glasses. The prevalence of blindness in the United States is 147 per 100,000. The prevalence of blindness among blacks is 252.7 per 100,000, whereas for whites, the prevalence is 127.1 per 100,000. An evaluation of the rates of addition to blindness registered for the states composing the MRA revealed that in every state except South Dakota, excessive numbers of black were blind. The data in table number 1 shows a consistent trend of excessive blindness in blacks over the 3-year period during which national blindness statistics were collected. In the states where data were available over a 3-year period, excessive blindness was presented in blacks from a high of 2.8 to 1.1. Prevalence data for the MRA over the period 1968 to 1970 is shown in Table 2. In view of the similarity over data over the 3-year period, only 1970 data will be discussed unless indicated otherwise with reports to the age-specific race, severity, and etiology. In addition, the designation non-whites will be equated with black because previous data have shown that 90% of the U.S. non-white population is black. So that's the article. Okay. And of course, by her being a doctor and doing this type of research, she has to write articles. So anytime any doctors go out and do field research or any type of clinical research, they have to be able to document it, have to do essays and articles and whatnot, so they can be able to tell, share with the colleagues what they have studied so far and what they discover and all that great stuff. So yeah, that's important. That's part of the concept of having a doctoral degree or anybody that's in the field that's dealing with STEM, especially medical things, because they have to be able to go about finding some form of solution, or a cure or some type of vaccination, whatever they gotta do. So yeah, and that was a lot. It's not so surprising because to this day it's still prevalent with the Black communities as far as health is concerned. So going back to the concept about racism, I know y'all get tired of hearing about racism, but you're gonna hear it throughout your life. Racism is not only detrimental socially, economically, or politically, but also health wise is very detrimental. Yes, racism can make us sick. And this woman, even though she was an eye doctor, okay, and her major, her occupation was dealing with those who were blind, right? But she saw the racial disparities that was taking place as she was doing her clinical research. She seen that more African Americans were more than likely to become blind than their white counterparts. And she discovered that. So she came up with the solution that, hey, we can offer free programs to help those who suffer with glaucoma or cataracts or any other eye disease. So that way their vision could be more clear and they could be able to have the ability to see. She witnessed this. So anybody that try to preach to you and tell you that, oh, there's no such thing. Oh, you're totally out your element. You don't know what you're talking about. Racism is done away with. Well, obviously it wasn't. And this was 1979, and to this day, it's still prevalent. It's still going on. It's still a consistent thing that's happening. Now we got this election taking place. It appears to me that for the first time, the House of Congress or whoever are very indecisive as far as who they want to choose as the president. So they're still counting people's vote. Because, right about now, we would have already known who was going to become their president. But here's the thing. You choosing between two white candidates, both are racist. That's the problem. Both of them are racist. One just happened to be openly racist. The other one tried to conceal their racism or try to disguise it. But both are racist. That's the issue. So you got to choose between two racist ass individuals. One that represents the Democratic Party, the other one that represents the Republican Party. That is a tragic thing. If you want me to be honest, that's very tragic. And it's so sad that people have to worry that, oh, if this party doesn't win over here, that it's going to create a war because somebody didn't get elected. Businesses had to board up because of this election. Isn't that interesting? So we don't know what's going to take place and how things going to go. Many of us are concerned and many of us are like, well. But anyways, now I can take my glasses off. Okay. Anyhow, I want to thank you guys for those of you that are tuning in, that's watching. Greetings to those in the chat. All right. If you want to share this video, you're more than welcome to do so. All right. If you want to watch this video from the beginning, please do so. Make sure you do that. All right. For those of you that's just coming in. And make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell and share the channel. All right. Whenever I come on. Until then, you guys, please be safe. Be careful. And always be knowledgeable. Be very knowledgeable and stay wise throughout these times. And until next time, we shall reconnect. With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. And peace. All right.